All right, today we're kicking off. We got a Truma C69 dual zone fridge that has a temperature sensor fault. Now, Truma writes these fridges off over, I'll show you, over a Thermistor that is like $12, and they write this whole $2,600 fridge freezer combo off over this because the sensor is embedded in the foam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to fix this one. And I'm going to do it in a way, hopefully, that I don't have to rip the whole fridge apart, because I want this video to be informative enough that like other people can repeat this and not have to rip their whole fridge apart and re-glue it all back together, right? So let's see if we can find a way to do this. All right, so I got the fridge flipped upside down here, and I've already taken the hardware out of the bottom here. So this panel is what's going to pop out. So that just comes out like this and rotates forward. And you'll have access to all of the electronics. I'll get you in a position where you can see everything. So all the wiring kind of centers around this control panel here, as you can see. Okay, so what you're looking at is the control board, and it has the thermistors or the temperature sensors plugged in. So there's two of them. There's one for each zone because it's a dual zone. And I'll get these out of the way so you can I'll see if I can just kind of push these out of the way and open it up so you can see it. So right here at the back, I'll zoom this in a bit for you. Right here at the back, you've got these two right here. So I don't know which zone has failed on this cooler right now. So I've got one is marked right and one is marked left, or R and L. And these were hot glued in here. So that was a bit of a pain. They hot glued them in. So you have to get a pair of forceps and like grab onto the glue and twist, and it'll like pull the glue off the connectors without damaging them. And then you can remove the connectors. So we'll go ahead and we'll test our fridge here and see which one has failed. And I'm gonna do that by essentially flipping the fridge upright. I'll plug it in and I will see which zone is reading extremely high as I unplug each one of these thermistors. And then that will tell me which one is the failed thermistor. Okay, let's see if we got power. All right, we've got power. Okay, so as you can see here, this is set to Celsius. But you can see that this zone is reading 21, which is about accurate, and this zone is reading 6, which is not accurate. So let's find what zone is reading 6. I've disconnected the wire labeled left right there, which is in line with the left side of this panel, which corresponds with the deeper side of the fridge freezer, which is the side that I had the problem on. So let's see if that all makes sense. Look at that, I got a code. So that's good. So that means that thermistor for the zones, the thermistor that is on the side of the indicated fridge side on the panel it corresponds with what you would expect it to be. So knowing that, we'll leave that one disconnected and we'll commence with tearing the rest of this all apart. Okay, so this is the connector that came with the thermistors that I bought. Okay, you can see it's a little bit different than this connector here, which is the one that I just pulled off that other lead. But the pins are the same. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna release the pins, switch out the connector, and then we'll be good to go. So you can see here these little silver bits on the back. There's little spring tabs in here, so you get your pick and just grab onto the wire. You might have to separate your leads out a little bit, not a big deal. And then you grab onto the wire, you apply some pressure with your pick. If you want to push in on the lead a little bit before you do that, just to help it unlock. And then you just add some pressure and pull on the lead, and it should back out. Okay. Just applying some pressure, getting that pin kind of past its gate. There we go. And then I can just pull the wire out. Nice and easy. And then I'll do the same thing for the other side. And we'll take our connector that we just pulled off this one, and we'll just slide these pins in. 1 and 2. There we go. All right, now we can test our thermocouple. All right, we've got our thermocouple plugged back in, our new thermocouple plugged in. That is tucked back in here. It's all plugged into its register. All right, so what we're gonna do, you can see the wires all hanging all over the place, but there's the thermocouple right there. So I'm anticipating now that thermocouple should be reading about the same as the other one, which was around the 20s. So let's fire this thing up and see what we're getting. Yeah, we're reading 24. So there's a little bit of difference between the two. One's in the fridge, one's outside the fridge right now. There's insulation, all that stuff. So that's kind of to be anticipated. It's pretty hot in the garage too. All right, so I've removed the replacement thermocouple. Now we have to free this lead and figure out where it goes to see if we can find a way to chase this out, or maybe core it out of the insulation and then replace it. So there's lots of zip ties holding all this together. We'll replace all those and rebundle everything once we get all of this pulled out and removed. Okay, this lead runs up through here. You can see it wiggling at the bottom there. Comes through and down into here, and then up and into this hole right here. So that's where both, by the looks of it, both the thermocouple leads, yeah. So I got wiggling on both. So both the thermocouple leads lead up there. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna actually pull some of this mechanism on top apart so that we can access this hole and get those leads pulled out. And then we'll see if we can just draw it out. All right, this is what we're looking at. So there's your compressor right here. You've got your radiator, or your whatever the fuck they call it in these things, condenser. And then my access for my two terminals is right here. So I just need to move this, disconnect it so I can get in here and remove this screw, which is kind of tucked up in an awkward spot. So we'll see if we can get in here. Probably just do this. Just giving myself enough clearance to get in and move stuff around as much as I need to, just to kind of give myself access here. All right, good stuff. My next step is I got to peel all this out. So I'm going to do that now. And then we'll see if I can actually just pull this lead out and see if that'll help us out. All right, so I've got it all kind of cleaned out now. Look at this. So that was in there about 6 inches. And honestly, that's all I need to do. So I don't have to rip this fridge apart or anything. I don't know what the situation is on the other one, but it looks like this one, I can just pull this out and I should be able, in theory, to just push a new one in and it's good to go. I have no idea why Truma doesn't repair these fridges. It blows my mind. All right. So now we're gonna take our, now that I've got our new lead all made up, so a little bit of shrink wrap, just prep, protection, put it all together. All right, so I've put a little bit of lubrication on the end of this in the form of some lithium grease, and I'm going to push it into, I think it's like a PTFE tube that they've got lined in there. I'm going to use this rod here that I've rounded out the end on, just to make it a little bit easier to push that in without damaging it. All right, so I'm going to take my new lead. I'm just going to pull the pump assembly out of the way. I'm going to slide this in. Now, it was only about 6 inches deep. And if you remember at the beginning of the video when I said it belonged to the large zone on the cooler, I think that that is inaccurate based on the fact that it's only 6 inches deep. So we'll suss that out, but it would make sense that it was actually not the case, and this is actually the closer thermistor in the smaller zone. There we go. So we're just going to push this in and try and feed it. There we go. It's moving. Okay, so we'll just route it along the same path that it was routed along before, and we shouldn't have any headaches, ideally. Honestly, the worst part about this job, honestly, has just been getting access to this, getting enough access to it to be able to get to the components that I needed to and just do the job, right? So all in all, I'm definitely not complaining about it. I think it's a pretty straightforward DIY job. And it'll save you from throwing out $2,500 cooler that is no longer supported by Truma, which is obviously the goal, right? Like, I don't want to be replacing equipment that is only minorly broken. I'm a little bit disappointed in Truma, honestly. Like, this is the second C69 dual zone. I really appreciated their customer service. They were very quick to help us out replacing this one. So our original cooler was replaced with this cooler while we were on the road. We were on the road when it happened. They were very helpful. So I don't want to slag on them too much, but like, they had to replace the cooler rather than you know, just be able to repair it. And so, like, I think the Truma authorized distributors or dealers should absolutely be equipped to do this. This isn't it's not a training issue or equipment issue. It's merely just Truma giving the repair instructions over to these dealers, so that they can facilitate repairs. Because, like, sorry, but replacing something isn't the ideal scenario. I'd rather bring it to somebody to have it fixed, because, like, the components, like, generally speaking, like, they're pretty well built coolers, right? So, you know, like, it doesn't make sense to throw it out. Yeah, the large zone was the farther away zone from the pump, and that was the one that was giving me the issue. But the tricky bit is the lead that I just replaced was actually the lead that was giving me the problem, is the lead for the smaller zone. And so I think these leads are actually switched. They're reversed from the factory. So I'm going to fix that now. And that actually makes sense, because I was having like anomalous cooling that I didn't really put together until now, because I would fire it up and then one zone would freeze, but it wasn't the zone that I commanded to freeze. So it makes sense now that I think about it, that those two leads were reversed. So I'll just fix that now while I'm in here, and it should be good to go. All right, I'm ready to button them back up and then we can test it. So I've got the mounting plate back in place. I'm just going to slide this back into its groove. There we go, everything's nice and tight. I'll put all the screws back in. All right, now for our moment of truth. Let's see if she fires up. Look at that, within 1 degree. And just like that, we got a functional C69 Truma dual zone. So don't throw out your $2,500 cooler. Buy the $12 part and fix it yourself.